All right. I was really enjoying that music.
Avast ye mateys. It's time for this special episode of the Everyday History Podcast. I'm Dustin Lloyd, and with me, visually, today is Tristan, Boo Boo, Kirby. How you doing, Boo Boo?
Yarg, I be doing quite well.
You took a minute there to think of a pirate accent. I heard that. Oh, so today we are covering the historical accuracy of the game Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And I've played it, loved it. Have you played it?
Never played it. It's one of the ones I haven't
Never played it. We're finding out live that you are a loser. Okay.
Yes. In real time.
In real time. No, I recommend playing. It's a great game. Lots of cool sword fighting, lots of cool, piratey adventures. Shit like that.
I like the ship mechanics from some of the other ones, like from Odyssey and Valhalla, of course, played that one.
That's a good one too. So before we get into this, I'm going to let everyone know, hey, check out our Patreon. You can search us at Everyday History Podcast, and we've also got a Cash App for tips. And I don't mean tips like find a real job because we've got those already, but you can Cash App us at Dustin Lloyd 2025, and what I don't decide to keep, I'll send to Boo Boo. And now we'll split it equally.
Yeah.
We'll split
Send him money. I need that trickle down.
Need that trickle down. So, since you don't really, you've never played the game, it's you've played, like you said, one of the Assassin's Creed things. It's kind of the whole thing with the Animus, the storyline in the background of those games, where you take over an ancestor's DNA. Blah blah blah. I don't really care for that part of the games. I enjoy the actual historical fun.
Yeah.
So the weapons, the hidden blade is one of the coolest weapons they've ever put in a video game for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
But so to do this particular episode, it's these are different than what you're used to with our Everyday History Podcast normal format. This is kind of new for me too because we're doing a video game for a change, and we're basically going to go over the golden age of piracy. More specifically, the what was considered the peak and most romanticized part of that, which would have been 1715 through probably 1722. But the pirate age itself went from around 1650 to the 1730s. So there was quite a time there that the seven seas were being terrorized.
Yeah.
With scurvy and whatnot.
There's still pirates, aren't there? There's still pirates out there.
Yeah. They're better armed. They don't use quite as cool language like keelhaul and things like that. But
yeah, there's probably a lot less yo-hos and yars, and it's probably just not
booty.
Fun. Like booty, right? Are we even looking for treasure anymore, or are we just stealing?
So one of the main areas or the places you can visit in the game is Nassau, which was in the Bahamas, which was then called New Providence. But that Nassau became a major pirate hub due to its strategic location and its lack of formal governance. So it was just chaos, and pirates love that kind of thing. Drunkenness,
right?
Rabble rousing. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, to be free, to rebel rouse.
General scallywagging means. I think
general scallywagging. Yeah.
Bring back scallywags. I think if you called people scallywags, people would fall in line a lot better.
I think so. I would definitely listen more if my boss called me a scallywag for misbehaving at work.
Right. For as funny as that word sounds, I would perk up. Like, whoa, hey.
Yeah. The implication of it.
Scallywag. That's a hefty allegation. Now I've hardly scallied or wagged.
So between 1713 and 1718, Nassau operated as the de facto anonymous atomata. It was their pirate haven. I don't know why I wrote that word when I wasn't going to use it because I can't pronounce it. It sounded good.
Brain knew what you meant.
Nassau was considered the Republic of Pirates, and while the game depicts this as somewhat a idealized pirate democracy. The real Nassau was more chaotic and was driven more by opportunity and loose codes of conduct and just rudimentary self-governance. And the Republic ended in 1718 with the arrival of Governor Woodes Rogers, who brought royal pardons and naval reinforcements.
Woodes Rogers.
Woodes Rogers, yeah.
You all just let that sink in. Let it sink in. I have to.
Woodes Rogers. I feel like it would be better if his last name was Richard, so we could say Woods Dick.
Yes, or Dick Wood.
It doesn't make any sense. Dick Woods.
Woods.
Yeah, Dick Woods would have been a great one.
Right, come on.
So Ubisoft, which is the one that created this game, they consulted real historians. For example, a man named Colin Woodward, who we're not going to get into because I don't really feel like it. And they used books like The Republic of Pirates to build a believable historical setting. And the setting, timelines, and the atmospheres are impressively grounded for being a fictional game. For the most part, as far as timelines go, they kind of blended some things, but the way things were kind of set up, the setting especially, is pretty accurate. So, and in particular instances of events, while they didn't capture the full-on accuracy of when and how something happened, they captured the atmosphere of how it happened, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you could kind of lose yourself in this game and for a second feel like a pirate, maybe,
Yeah, and spoiler alert for a game that's been out for over probably 15 years at this point. While researching this, I did actually watch a video of a pirate expert talk about some of the things in the game. And one of the things she pointed out was that the historical depiction or descriptions of Blackbeard's death in particular played out in the game more accurately than she had ever seen portrayed in any type of fiction. So
Wow.
it goes for the exception of how it's set up, it goes exactly with historical records say. So that's
me
pretty
rate
cool.
it 9 out of 10 yo-hos.
9 out of 10 yo-hos.
All right, 10 yards since you want to be a scallywag.
Oh, jeez. I should have known this would happen inviting you on here.
Boo. Hey, you can't boo. Watching you.
So, two of the other historical figures that are real people was Anne Bonny and Mary Read, who, while some sources say they disguised themselves as men to join crews, I've also seen other people say that they did no such thing and they were openly women, as if they had a choice, I guess. They were women.
What do you mean? People weren't so open-minded.
They weren't openly women.
No.
I don't know. It just sounded funny.
I've watched Mulan, okay? I know how this goes.
They joined Calico Jack Rackham's crew, and were captured in 1720, which is right towards the end of the pirate age, if you remember. I think it was Bonnie. Bonnie was pregnant when they were incarcerated, and she may have died of complications from it. But they are real people, or were real people, and the game really kept their spirit and backstories intact for the most part. So they took some liberties. It's a game, but
right.
I mean, they did a great job. From what I saw, like I've played it, from what I saw and from what I've researched, they didn't jump around too much. They didn't make it too out there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. I feel those games have always been pretty good at making you feel like you take a step back in history. The ones I played, besides the new ones, I think the last old one was like Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Where you play what's his name? Connor.
I can't remember his name, but we should I don't know, maybe we should do some more on the Assassin's Creed series, because there are some cool titles in that franchise. Valhalla is another great one.
Yeah.
So we might have to look into that. Some other real pirates that were shown and portrayed in the game was Charles Vane, Calico Jack, who we just mentioned, and Benjamin Hornigold, which great name.
What a name. I like it.
They were all real pirates operating during this time. And I see our chat. I don't know if you can see the chat, but we got Paul over here.
Looks like we got some hecklers out in the crowd tonight. Throw them out, no coats.
No, keep on commenting. It's fun. It's making me laugh. Go Benjamin. So, all real pirates who operate during this period, like I said, each with reputations for violence, charisma, or betrayal. Vane was known for defiance, and Hornigold, is what I'm going to start calling him, even though it's Hornigold. Hornigold helped mentor Blackbeard himself, so pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Now, the one character that is glaringly fictional in this game is the main character that the player plays, which is Edward Kenway. Entirely fictional, no historical evidence for a Welsh pirate by that name. However, his story is a composite of real themes, privateering origins, betrayal, survival, wanting to make money and, survive in a rough time in history. I just got called a dill hole by Paul. Thanks a lot.
Pirates didn't need coats. What, you think it didn't rain out in the ocean, man?
Oh, it rained all the time on the ocean.
Rained. There's spray.
Which is a perfect segue. Perfect segue. No, it's not. Naval warfare, economics, and pirate life is our next next topic. So,
maps.
From privateering to piracy, we've got Queen Anne's War, which many former privateers were left jobless, but still armed piracy became a natural, transition for them because privateering was like being a private. I can't even remember how to articulate it now. But
help, Chat
it was a legal profession. So the next step was the piracy. It was basically the legal version of piracy. So the line between legal and illegal was pretty thin and often exploited. And I see you're reading Paul's comments down there.
So, right, they probably didn't wear shorts.
So Assassin's Creed 4 realistically depicts ship combat, which is something else that the historian that I watched pointed out, that the way they depicted it was pretty accurate to what we believe how they would have done it. It was raining in the scene she watched, so yeah, they needed coats. All that stuff, the broadsiding with the cannons, the boarding of the ship, and the looting of the booty, so to speak. All that stuff happened. Life on the ship, of course, was tough. Disease was rampant. There was poor nutrition, scurvy, brutal discipline. People that stepped out of line of the crew were punished for it. Obviously, you got to keep the beatings will continue until morale improves. That kind of thing.
Right.
But they often had a better social structure, or conditions at least, than Navy sailors due to the way that it was democratically run. Everyone got a vote on a ship for the most part. I'm sure there was outliers to that, to that rule, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The ships that they would that they would board and overtake, they would usually take the ship itself, because what more valuable item can you find than the ship itself? For example, Blackbeard took Queen Anne's Revenge and basically refitted it into a tool of war. It was this intimidating, monstrous ship with 40 cannons on each side and just crazy. And I believe they recently discovered the sunken ship off the coast of North Carolina back in 2018 or 17.
Oh, that's
somewhere
cool.
Around that. Yeah. I've heard that there's a museum down there that I really need to check out. So pretty cool.
Right. You can live stream that, and then that'll be the part 2 to this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So some of the things that aren't real from the game, which are pretty obvious when you look at when you hear some of these, spyglasses that could tag enemies were not real. So we just did not have the technology. You couldn't instantly upgrade a ship, so that kind of sucked. And some of the mythical weather events, like rogue waves, are fantasy, to the way they're depicted, at least. But nonetheless, the seafaring tone and sound design and tactics, they do reflect solid historical research. So good job on that.
So it sounds like other than the gaming mechanics, like it's pretty good. Like they did their homework.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we got a question in the
What
in the
I know, right?
in the
This is
chat.
a startling revelation.
We're gonna go live with this question. I'm not prepared for it, so I did a
What is
little
it?
searchy here. So the question is asked in the
hardtack? Was it hardtack? With the
There we go.
occasional
There we go. There
orange.
we go. I didn't even ask the question out loud. Goddamn.
What? No, I'm reading the comment.
So yes, Paul just asked, "What did the?" He said, "What did the privates eat?" But the pirates, yes, hardtack was a thing, and hardtack. I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds disgusting. I remember looking
I
up a
think
recipe for that once.
it's like just
It's like
flour and
grain and
water. I'm
shit.
pretty sure.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
might be.
some kind of flour and water, and then you fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do after that. Sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to cuss on this stream. I did not even mean to do that.
Oh, we can until we're canceled.
Right. You want to cancel me over the F word? Well, go back and watch the first fucking episode. It's what we opened with. I mean, come on. You know what you're getting into here by now, hopefully.
So that's a good point. Some of the things that a ship was typically stocked with at the beginning of a journey would be cheese, vegetables, fruits, eggs, meats. Not really anything specific when it comes to those, but that's just a typical lineup.
Did they have pickles?
Sir.
I don't know.
They might have.
They have I imagine like brine and stuff like that, bro. You know, I don't know.
Pickling is a very ancient preservation.
Yeah, just some brine. I
process.
mean, fuck, you're
so,
right
yeah,
out there in the ocean. You're swimming.
You're surrounded by
right?
pickle.
I made some ocean pickles.
Speaking of the ocean, I'm looking at a list here from a website, a history website. It's naming some things and whether or not they actually enjoyed it or would dine on it while at sea. And seafood surprisingly wasn't used as much because it just wasn't. And it says that
you be surrounded by fish, you start to hate the fish.
It says this might seem counterintuitive. You think?
Yeah, a little bit. Like just cast a net. Easy.
But the reason being is that pirates relied on old methods of catching fish at sea as compared to large-scale modern fishing boats, and these boats were rather high up and etc. So it just seemed like a waste of resources and time to try to fish like that while at sea. I guess
it makes sense, but come on.
Moving on to the important stuff, though.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You're surrounded by food, guys.
Yeah, come on. You got fucking shit to make pickles, and you got food. Like, what's going on here?
The most important things being rum, beer, and ale.
Well,
always kept on a ship, and the main reason for that is because you're surrounded by seawater.
Right, you don't have any drinkable fucking stuff.
You can only keep fresh water on a pirate ship in the 1700s for so long before it's not good. And plus all the contamination, like green slimes and shit and all that kind of stuff getting on it. Probably not safe. Hardtack, as we mentioned earlier, was probably one of the most important foods for the pirates. It was also a staple for soldiers for centuries. So yeah, you're right. Hardtack's one of those things.
I'll tell you, men
preserved
eat
foods.
Hardtack. Men with man teeth eat fucking hardtack. I'm not a man. That shit would break my shit, dude.
and no palate. It's got to be plain.
Well, throw some salt water on it, lad. It'll taste okay.
For longer journeys, they would also bring dry biscuits, beans, salted beef, because who needs any type of flavor? So, so those were the basic pirate staples as far as the food goes. That was a good question. It's a handsome question, sir.
It was. It's
so
yeah, pickles.
Yeah,
and then he also said Blackbeard eating a pickle while sailing the seven seas tickles me, and it should, quite frankly. I mean, could you imagine his big beard, the smoke coming off the ends of his fucking stinky ass beard? He's burning. Like, I'd be more offended by the smell than the sight if I saw him like as myself today. Like, dude, put that shit out. Come on. It's a
Say
fancy
his name one more time.
Blackbeard.
You know what that means, don't you?
No,
It's
not here in the
personal
live stream.
lore time. Yes, it is. Right here in the live stream. We're doing a live personal lore on
Hit the button,
Blackbeard.
motherfucker. Hit the button.
I don't have the button set up, so we can't do that.
Fuck. Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, sorry.
I tried. I tried. I'll figure that out one day.
I'll be the air horn. There we go.
So, personal lore. I shouldn't have done it that way because now my throat's all funny. So, his real name was Edward Thatch or Teach. He was probably born in Bristol and turned to piracy under Hornigold's mentorship. His tactics were intimidation. Like you said, lit fuses in his beard to create a hellish, demonic appearance about himself. He did hold hostages during the Charleston blockade, and he demanded medicine and blah blah blah. He wasn't, but there's no evidence that he was this ruthless killer, from what I could find. Like there's stories, but he was. There's no real violence I could find. No major violence recorded until his death, when he was ambushed by Lieutenant Robert Maynard, and they basically shot him. Let me double check. They shot him a bunch.
I've never met a Robert I trusted.
Oh, Blackbeard. That's not right.
Blackbeard. No, it's canon. It's canon. Let's see. Did the pirates play any games like an Assassin's Creed minigame?
Oh,
Did they
that's a good question too. Well, let's finish. Let's finish Blackbeard. We'll go on to that one. That's a good question.
Attacking that.
Blackbeard was shot 5 times and slashed and stabbed more than 20 times before finally dying. And then his head was cut off and hung from the bow. So,
oh my god, dude.
Yeah, the guy who ordered him dead really had a major grudge with him. So yeah,
God,
obviously,
you must have made that guy look stupid more than once to cut a dude's head off and fucking like, hey, what kind of message are you trying to send, man? We don't like pirates. I don't think you got to cut a dude's head off to say that. You just say no.
I found his last word. Found his last words. Blackbeard's last words were recorded during a verbal exchange with Captain Maynard, according to Captain Charles Johnson. Johnson.
Charles.
He said that Charles Chuck. He said that Blackbeard's last words were, "Damnation seize my soul if I give you quarters or take any from you."
Whoa!
And then he went, "Arr, arr, 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 arr." Maynard also reported that Blackbeard drank to damnation for him and his men, and whom he called sniveling puppies. So he did not like them either, I guess.
Wow. Talk about some powerful last words.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. That's how I want to go.
Right. I hope I'm alive long enough when I'm about to die to have a cool thing like that. Awesome quote. Yeah, it was a fucking awesome quote. Right? It's powerful. That's some powerful shit right there. Damn me soul to hell if you take me peg leg.
So I found a list of pirate pastimes, and I can't vouch for how accurate any of these are because this isn't part of my normal research. I'm just finding something, and this one stuck out because it's got some cool pictures. Anyway, one of the most important fun things they got to do was and I love the way this is worded, divide the booty, or split the booty, if you will.
Split the booty wide open.
So the booty was divided equally, the booty, so that everyone felt they were compensated properly. Otherwise, why be a pirate, right? That was the main motivation. So
I put in the work. I should get some of the booty.
The captains probably took a larger portion, but not enough to where it like caused some sort of inequality that anyone disagreed with. They were often treated better than if they were a merchant or a military sailor. So Yeah, I guess that would be a good reason. They did play board games,
Shut up,
but
man.
board games were more like involved dice, cards, chips, and a lot of imagination. So they made up and modified a wide variety of board games to amuse themselves, playing with all kinds of complex rules and interesting ideas. And as expected, most of them involved gambling. So that's not a
That's fun.
surprise. Yeah.
It's too fun.
Uh, they would also play music and sing songs, sea shanties, of course.
Shanties.
Uh, yeah, the Wellerman is a good one. I don't know if that's a real one, but I like that one.
Yeah. What do you
What
do
do you
with the
do with a
drunken
drunken
sailor?
pirate? Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
do with a
yeah.
drunken pirate? It's sailor, but for this one, I change. All right, and
Right,
you know
right.
what?
Sorry.
All right, this one's
Also,
surprising. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say all pirates are sailors, but not all sailors are pirates. And
That's one of the most um, popular things to do as a pirate on a ship is to drink. So that I guess holds true. They also enjoyed learning things. Like they came from all different types of social levels, according to this website. Some of them had a lot of education. Some had none, but they did like to learn new skills in their meantime. And if they were able to read, they'd spend time teaching illiterate pirates how to read and write. So that's kind of
that's
cool.
nice. Cool.
Took a lot of time napping, apparently.
I guess you're out there a
And
while.
yeah. So and gunnery practice was something else too. If they had extra ammunition, they'd just shoot for fun. So they'd set up targets on the ship and shoot them.
Oh my god. You
Sounds
better
like
not
a
put a hole in
blast.
me vessel. Oh my god. No.
So back to Blackbeard because we went on that tangent. It was fun. Um, the last part of Blackbeard's personal lore, because not really much is known about him. Edward Thatcher Teach was his name, as far as we know. But as far as his life before becoming a pirate, I found nothing. So that's pretty cool. Uh, in a mysterious kind of way that he was, a demon. But his wreck, I was wrong about the date of his wreck. It was 96. I don't know where I got 2017 from. But they confirmed it through. I believe it was they were beginning efforts to try to excavate and raise it in that time in the 2010s. Pretty cool though. So I'm going to do the overall historical rating of this, and it's just my opinion. And then we'll get on to the next question and in our comments. But I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 because they
Well,
did take a lot of liberties with some stuff, but they captured the atmosphere well. And the major figures, there was they tied in a lot to real history. So it's not, hey, you could play this game and pass your history test accurate, but they did a great job of mixing things up. It's a lot of the way that they kind of mix to like the animus thing. There's just so much stuff that's so sci-fi that
right,
kind of took
right.
it away from being. But that being said, it is probably one of the most historically rich entries in that entire series that I could like just from people's opinions. Mine from the ones I've played, it's pretty cool. So um
Yeah, I'll have to play
Paul
that
wants
now.
to know what was a parlay? Or was parlay a real practice with the Pirates?
Parlay.
Parlay, real pirate practice. And like I said, getting these from Google, they could be accurate, they may not.
Just don't read
um
the AI answer.
no, I scroll down a little bit just to find one that looks like it might be usable or like more accurate, and most of them are not. Most of these look like people's opinions. So
Are ye scurvy dogs?
uh I can't find. Wait, maybe that's it. Hold on. Give me just a second.
Aye, we be researching.
We be
We be.
researching on the fly. Okay. Yeah. Apparently, when Henry Morgan and Bart Roberts compiled one of the most, or the first informal pirate codes of the 1700s, they may have included temporary truce rights dubbed parley. Um, Yet, much like early pirate history, this remains clouded in mystery as few records exist, and historians actually still debate whether that's true or not. So, to answer your question, fuck if I know, Paul. Sorry. So, on to our top fives, real quick. So we got
I
top
didn't
five
even know what a
facts of the day.
parlay was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm. You know me, bro.
Oh,
You know me.
I'm gonna get these top five
Ignorant.
facts out, and then we're gonna answer Paul's last question. So, here's our top five facts. Number one: the pirate age was, or the pirate's golden age at least, was short-lived. Short-lived. You raising your finger? Oh no, you're just
No,
doing the one.
number one.
The one. Got to raise it
Right.
in the air. All our wrestling fans out there. It only lasted about 10
Acknowledgement.
years, 1713 through 1723, despite the romantic portrayals of Hollywood and entertainment in general. Ubisoft, number two, sorry. Ubisoft used historical consultants, including Arthur Morgan,
Arthur's.
authors like
Yeah, I
Marcus
broke the
Whitaker
goddamn wheel.
and Colin Woodward were two of the authors they used heavily for everything. Number
Okay.
three, pirate code did exist. It wasn't universal, but many crews followed articles about loot shares, injury compensation. They had their own healthcare system, and even democratic votes. Pretty cool.
Wow. Not
Um,
sounding so bad.
I was wrong. I only put five here, or four here. Sorry. So on to
Oh
number
shit.
four. No, I couldn't find anything that wasn't like, oh, this fits. Is you know. Well, actually, you know what? I'll make a number four up here on the fly. Number four.
Number four.
I think I held up three. Number four. So there were women pirates. How about that? That wasn't something that most people know.
Whoa.
Pretty cool. Like
Women
we
as
mentioned,
pirates?
yeah, we mentioned. Where were you when we mentioned Anne
I'm just
Bonny?
kidding. I was there.
So yeah, number five. Treasure hoards are not a thing,
What?
allegedly. Despite legend, there's no confirmed like treasure pirate pirate treasure burial like you see in the movies or cartoons. None that I could find anything about.
There's no El
Um,
Dorado? There's no
I I
sunken
kind of I focus more on
sunken beauty?
Blackbeard because Blackbeard's cool. Blackbeard's treasure was never found. It was most likely just split, and that was probably the same for most pirates. Last question from Paul. He swears. Who was your favorite pirate that you haven't mentioned yet? You have a favorite pirate, Boo Boo.
Do I have a favorite pirate? Of course I do. That'd be Patchy the Pirate from SpongeBob.
Oh, that's a good pirate. Fictional pirate, but good nonetheless. He's kind of real.
I'll be honest,
Ah,
man. It's like Paul said in the comments, dude. I'm uncultured swine. Yeah, but I did know
um,
about the Blackbeard doing the smoke shit
yeah, the putting the wicks is cool. Also, an
and
interesting
the
thing about
legends, and he was
Blackbeard,
on fire and shit.
allegedly he was also 6'5", which would have made
Wow,
him a giant, even by
huge.
today's standards. That's tall. So,
Yeah,
uh, if I had to pick a favorite pirate, it would probably be Roberto Clemente of the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's a joke. That's a bad joke. Blackbeard was my favorite pirate. I know I already mentioned him several times, but I can't think of a better one. I'm not a big Captain Jack Sparrow fan, so
there was the only other pirate I really know of. I mean, is Redbeard a real pirate? Like, or is that just like some cheap dollar store imitation of fucking Blackbeard? He's like, yeah,
I
I
don't.
be the same person, but my beard is red. It's
I
better.
don't think that's a real one. Let me
Yeah.
find out. Redbeard the
There's
Pirate.
like there was. Have you ever played the Uncharted series, dude?
I have not. I have not.
Well, in the fourth one, there's like you fucking. It's like Thomas something. I don't fucking know. I can't remember his name. But you go on this whole thing. So that's like really the only other real pirate from Legend that I even know. And folks, oh, thank you. You're my favorite person to call me Uncultured Swine. No one does it better, my friend. No, he's your favorite. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Dustin Blackbeard can't be your favorite because it's Paul's favorite. I don't make the rules.
That's it's not fair. All right, fine. Captain Kidd.
Captain
Does that
Kidd.
work for you?
And
Captain
while we
Kidd.
got y'all on the line, I
Calico
want to give a
Jack.
very special shout out to an upstart racing league that I
Diecast
challenge
Racing
you
League.
to find me one with more heart and grit and character. You can't. You just can't. It doesn't exist. I'm sorry. It's objectively true.
No, I would say it's objectively true that it's better than NASCAR these days.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't got all
So
the
check out.
politics and the BS.
So definitely check out the Chaos Day. Oh boy, Chaos
Thomas,
Diecast Racing League.
Chris,
You can find them on
fucking late.
YouTube or no Facebook, TikTok. Am I thinking of anything else? Is there anywhere else
Thomas
they're
too. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Maybe.
at?
I trust you. I trust him. But you're my favorite uncultured. No, I know. Yeah, and you're my favorite person to call me Uncultured Swine, and I appreciate that. Chris,
So in
what's up?
closing
Late to
here-
the game?
Wow, really late to the game there, Chris. Unless
That's
he's
all
been
right.
listening the whole time.
Right. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna wait.
So I'm going to go over our sources here. So here's the boring part, unless you've got something else.
Chaos Diecast Racing and Dustin.
So our sources today were Colin Woodward and the Republic of Pirates, which these are books. Marcus
Okay.
Rediker, Villains of All Nations, National Geographic, Blackbeard's Ship Found, the Smithsonian Magazine, Anne Bonny and Mary Read, the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, BBC History, History Extra, Encyclopedia Britannica. I knew I was going to fuck that up. Britannica, Pirate Biographies. And primarily, a lot of this was pulled from, and I didn't read it directly, but I read other people's stuff on this because you'll see why at the end. It's called A General History of the Pirates by Captain Charles Johnson, and it was written in 1724. So
Johnson.
that's Johnson, but that was like a what's the word I'm looking for? Contemporary record of the piracy stuff. So yeah. So hope everybody enjoyed everything. Boo Boo, any closing words?
Well, I definitely feel like I should go and check out Black Flag now because you made the settings sound really awesome.
Yeah, you do need to check out Black Flag.
And those games are always interesting. Yeah, they're pretty good. You know, I like Assassin's Creed. I don't want to pay $80 for a new one, but that's besides the point. Pirates, I don't know. Maybe I could look up some stuff about pirates now. It sounds pretty interesting. Especially the part where like they have democracy and you know, if it would have been a little more like the game where it's a little more civilized, I imagine it's more of like a toughness. Like at the end of the day, I could just exert my force over you and I'm top pirate, you know, but it's cool to think like on a ship, everybody had a vote and you know, they were fair and stuff and respected the work. So I never really knew about the inner workings of that sort of stuff before, but that's really cool because you kind of think of pirates as a bunch of dicks who just want to steal and plunder, but it's like maybe they were just more than just like a thief, you know. Maybe it's like there's adventure and there's structure and there's respect and shit like that, you know. So that's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah. We might have to do a whole episode on just pirate stuff one day. That'd be kind of cool. Instead of just, I mean, this was obviously just a breakdown of this game. So
right.
We should probably go more in depth. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. And we'll probably be back next Tuesday with a new episode of the Everyday History Podcast, everywhere you find your favorite podcast, blah, 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 blah. Boo Boo, stay on the line. I'm going to hit this outro button and we'll talk in a second. So to everyone else, good night.